Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Today we're in Bangalore with Sashwath, and we're here to talk about the current boom in the AI industry and AI related stocks. And is it an opportunity to buy, or should we be cautious as an investor? What does the road ahead say? So I thought we'd let Shashwath dive in, and then we can explore further on the nuances of stock picking in AI related stocks.
Yeah, first off, there's been a lot of comments on YouTube which we've gotten from field experts, I'm assuming or presuming, or people who know more than us, definitely. And we've gotten a lot of insight on how AI works and technology works, and thank you for the comments, keep them coming. So, one of the insights with AI investing, at least for value investors like us, I think the point was made in one of the few past videos, which is that if you do an PE analysis, it prevents you from investing in companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, and other tech companies which are trading at 70 PE and 30, anything above 35 and above. You're pretty much, it's barred off from you. And that's a valid point. As value investors, we sort of don't tend to look at these companies because we think it's way out of our PE range. But I don't think that we're missing out on much in terms of returns we get, because what matters really is the price of whatever asset you're purchasing, not the amount of assets you're able to purchase. Warren Buffett never bet on, at least very recently, he started buying Apple in the past decade or so, and he sort of invested in tech companies. But before which, most of his money was minted in companies which were in a circle of competence, which met his PE matches and your intrinsic value and so on and so forth. But that being said, growth companies are a great avenue to look at, and for growth companies, what we engage in is discounted cash flow. So discounted cash flow is a method where very in brief, discounted cash flow is when you take 100 rupees which you get 2 years from now and discount it back to what it's worth today. So it's like if I ask my uncle saying, I'll give you 100 rupees 2 years from now. How much is that worth to you? Like, how much will you pay me for you to be able to avail that opportunity 2 years from now? So he can have a discount rate of 20%. He can say, Sashwath, 100 rupees a year from now is 20% less to me today. And then he can discount it at that much and say, okay, I'll only pay you 80 rupees. At most, I'll pay you 80 rupees because that's what it's valuable to me today. If you'd rather give me 80 rupees today, I'll take it. That's what he would say in response. And what we do is we look at the next 5 years and we look at the revenue we get each year, and we try to sort of model how much do we think this company, say Nvidia, is going to give us over the next 5 to 10 years. And what that does is you sort of circumvent the PE problem which we were talking about before. But it's definitely a valid point that PE's analysis doesn't let us buy growth stocks. So anyway, moving on from that. You shared an article today, and the article talked about Nvidia and other AI companies which are sort of... So the analogy was really nice. It basically said if there's a gold boom, the guys who are selling the sifting thing and the shovels are the ones.
Give the context behind that.
Right.
The famous context is the Levi's jeans company. In way back in the 1800s, in the US, they had something called the gold rush. In the western region of California, there are a lot of people who, from the east of America, moved across the west because there was a Klondike rush. There was a gold boom which is happening. And most of the guys who were coming there were looking for gold. But the guys who made the most money in the gold rush were not the actual guys who found the gold. It was the guys who were supplying these gold prospectors, the gold pans, the gold picking tools. And Levi's family famously made these jeans, which are rugged cloth, which you could wear, gold pickers could wear, which should not tear and easily give way. So these are the companies which made the money.
Right.
So famously, this article is talking in the context of this AI gold rush and the companies you should be targeting. You can elaborate further on that.
Yes. So the example is precisely what he was talking about. And another example of this was during the crypto boom, where people who bought cryptocurrencies have pretty much met ruination by now. But then, and held on to it. Maybe there are some smart people who bought it and then sold it at the high. I don't think very many of those exist.
No.
But the guys who bought Nvidia and all these other GPU manufacturing companies, which were used for crypto mining, they made a lot of money. And even though the valuation sort of sunk after the crypto bust, again, valuations are rising because of the AI boom. So companies like Nvidia still have a huge price uptake because of AI, which has now come in. That's what the article talks about. It basically says, we don't know what's happening with AI, that's for sure. But we do know that regardless of where AI goes, we don't know whether ChatGPT is going to win. We don't know whether Bard AI is going to be the next future, nor do we know whether Bing is going to be the next future. But what do we know is that Bard, ChatGPT and all your other generative AIs do use a lot of computational power, which comes from your said Nvidia and AMD and all those other companies which make the blueprints, and your TSMC which manufactures these chips. So the idea here is not, that you're not banking on car companies, specific car companies like GM or Fiat or any of those companies. What you're banking on is the oil. You want to be the one who produces the oil for these cars. You want to be the one who gives the spare motors for all these other companies. So that's what Nvidia and all these other companies work as, the shovels and the sifts and the genes. So elaborating on that, so Nvidia and a few other companies have faced a huge uptick, and I think a lot of it is very reasonable because from scratch till manufacturing, every single chip which is manufactured pays a license fee to Nvidia and AMD for the right to put their label onto the thing, which was what the article talks about, which is a huge, that's the kind of business we like. We like businesses where margins are huge, they're fat, and we also like businesses where there's a lot of brand value to it. Like your Warren Buffett has also historically liked companies with a lot of brand value. Coca-Cola, Seas Candy. All these companies are, you can take a bottle of any other ordinary generic soda, but as soon as you slap a Coca-Cola label on it, you know that now you're able to charge them a much higher premium, and that's what Nvidia is able to do. And with Nvidia, another thing is that it's on the cutting edge of technology, GPU manufacturing technology. Although we aren't technocrats or technology experts by any means, we have enough of an idea of the industry to recognize that they have that sort of edge over other companies, which we always want to see. And that's what Nvidia is being paid for with its high multiple. And Nvidia's earnings revenue has also increased enormously. So most people are focusing on GPU companies now, but what's interesting is other companies like real estate companies which have data spaces where it's data warehousing, where it's easy for people to create that infrastructure and that environment required for computation. If you want to take over on that.
Yeah, so the article does elaborate further. He says this is a boom which is happening in AI technology. He says instead of focusing on the actual AI companies, he says as investors you should spread your bets on the companies which support this bubble. So he says this is true not only in AI, in any bubble, the best way an investor can protect and take advantage of the situation is also to focus on companies supporting the main industry, the main bubble creation. Here the main bubble creation is the AI, the software companies. So Google, the Microsoft are the main components of this AI boom which is happening. And he says let's focus on not only on this, let's focus on the companies which are supplying to this boom.
Yes.
So when you look at those companies, there is even a huge growth prospect. He says, okay, you might have missed the Nvidia bubble because we were sitting and watching it. Now we're looking at it, but there are other chip manufacturers you can look at, which is a Taiwan semiconductor company, which is one company you can look at. There are lots of other data warehousing companies you can look at. So if you look and analyze as retail investors on companies which are supplying to this, there are opportunities which have not been spotted as yet, where you can walk in and pick them up cheap now because of future earning projections which you look at, like Nvidia, you look at the rise of Nvidia's, the future prospect of the earnings. It's not that it's not only earning now. Investors and speculators are expecting the AI boom to go on further, pushing these revenues on a much higher level in the next coming few years. And if you look at those earning projections, the future PE what it's looking at is going to be much lower than what it is right now. That is what these guys are betting on. I don't know if this is going to happen or not, he says in the article. Most importantly, he says in the article is for this AI thing to come to a grinding halt is only one way. That is if all the global governments across the globe, all of them together decide to stop AI in its tracks dead right now. He says the chances of that happening are very remote.
Yes.
He says everyone coordinatedly doing anything in the world is very remote. Even if it's an existential threat, governments have not worked together to do anything.
And the interesting thing here is that if the US steps in and says, boss, we want to regulate this, China will immediately say, no, we are not going to regulate free AI. You do how much ever AI, come to our land, do AI at our land.
Same thing in Russia will say.
Yes. The competition between the Western and Eastern bloc is so fierce that anything which this bloc is going to do, the other bloc will immediately liberalize it and say, let's basically spite them.
Correct. So as an investor, there are opportunities for you to see. And if you carefully analyze and see the companies, there are quite a few companies which the article talks about. There's even a new index being formed called the AI index, which kind of consolidates 30-40 companies which are all related to AI related industries and AI companies, which is also showing a great surge in these stocks. And when you compare it to the Nasdaq and you compare it to the S&P 500, it's showing very high returns.
It is even beaten the Nasdaq by over
Yeah.
20% or so. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is something to analyze, something to keep an eye on. It's just not Nvidia. Nvidia is just the one which is making the headlines.
Yes.
There are a whole bunch of plethora of companies which you should look at and maybe analyze and dive into.
And the thing is, you haven't really missed the bubble. You just have to be creative in figuring out what other people haven't really seen. Because there's as Howard Marks says, there's the first level thinking, which is, okay, AI is going to boom, let me buy Google or whatever, Microsoft. But then the second level, which is, okay, let me buy the companies which are manufacturing. That is Nvidia. But now what you can do is you can sort of branch out and figure out, okay, AI isn't solely relying on chips. There's so many other factors which helps in the production of AI and cloud computing.
Yes.
So you can look at all those other branches which the article basically talks about. So your data warehousing, that's an industry which very few people have picked up on. So the rally in companies like Blackstone, which have aggregations of these real estate spaces, the increase in price hasn't been much. So there's still a lot of room in these sort of opportunities. So you haven't really missed the bubble per se.
Correct. So I hope you found this article and this video interesting. I hope you found it insightful. We wish you the best of luck for those of you who are venturing into AI stock picking. Do let us know in the comments below what companies you think are the future in AI and AI space. We'd love to look at those companies, analyze and talk about them much further. Anyway, thank you again for joining us at Be Rich. It has been fun recording from this location in Bangalore. We hope to record a few more videos from here. And if you have any suggestions of any content which is related to AI you would like us to discuss and dive further about, please do share them in the comments below and we'll definitely look into it.
Yes, we enjoy all the feedback you guys give us, negative and positive. So please keep them coming.
Yes. And do realize we are not advisors, we are not stock pickers, we are not authorized, nor are we asking you to pick any companies or invest in any specific sector or companies. We're just, as you are, interested in the field and we enjoy talking about it and sharing our ideas with you guys. I hope you find that and keep a note of that as you watch our videos. Thank you again for joining us today and Be Rich. Please do subscribe to our channel. Turn on the bell notification so you're notified when we come up with new content. And we'd like to thank you again for joining us on Be Rich.
Thank you.
We had a meeting in Singapore. I was very pleased with the results. Indians received me with great love and affection, and I enjoyed my time in Singapore. The meeting was a big success, and I could meet up people from various walks of life. I miss going to Kuala Lumpur, which is very close to Singapore, just 4 hours drive, and I have been asked to come there. So my team decided on the 11th of June, Sunday, we would do an event in Kuala Lumpur. If you would like to meet me in Kuala Lumpur, kindly send a message at the WhatsApp number given below and or drop a mail to the mail ID given below. My team would contact you at earliest. Once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.